Hoy, oh man. Hi, the walk. Hi, Dondlo. What's going on, man? What's going on, you guys? Good to see ya. Hi, Meme Big 8. Hi, North Point MMA. Hi, Thief. Hi, Jerusalem. Hi, Thug Life. Hi, The Murdering. Shay, if you ever do that again, you're dead to me looking tiny. I don't know what you guys are talking about, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Flex in front of me again. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hi, Joppy. Hi, you guys. Hello, everybody. Could be better. It could theoretically be better. My Minecraft enchantment table. Hey, Thug Life. Hey. Thank you, Fight Milk. I'm glad somebody thinks so. Let's see. Details. Ba-da-da-da. All right. Oh, wait. Hold on. This isn't what I'm looking for. Hold on. Sorry. Well, let me pull up the breakdown real quick. I have a new and interesting format for all of you guys. Let in terms of how we're going to break this fight down. Let me just pull up the video real quick. But I collected all, well, you guys will see. But I think this could be good. Hi, Jim Miller. Hey, buddy. Blue. Now, Blue, I don't see you around these parts much anymore. It's good to see you, buddy. Okay, the walk. Thank you. You're kind of giving me some Rigo vibes, telling me that you're gonna watch me in the shower. But I'll just, whatever. It's all right, I guess. Okay, red rotten man guy person. What happened was Shea bet on Buckley, so he automatically lost his takedown defense and fighting ability. Yeah, maybe. But look, I've got a new format for all of you guys. I've collected essentially a collection of screenshots. So we're going to avoid copyright claim today. And let's just say we got a lot of things to look at here. Believe it or not, I have an example from fucking Steven Wonderboy Thompson doing what Buckley should have done in a lot of these positions. And it's like, wow. You know what I mean? Fucking wow, Buckley. I'm using fucking Wonder Boy as an example of what takedown defense and get ups from the bottom is supposed to look like. So, but we got a lot to talk about here. Obviously, I want to talk about also some potential matchups in the future. Did Buckley sell? Well, look, we're going to get into it. Look, for the most part, yes. Yes, he did sell. For the most part, yeah, I think so. For the most part, I think he sold. It's tough to say. Obviously, the walk thing. You were the $2. Put on a shirt. Is your head okay? Okay, the walk. I will put on a shirt. Hold on one second. I need to find a shirt first and foremost. You'll do. Just wear a white shirt. You'll do. Thank you for the $2, walk. I love you. Yeah, dude, my head's doing okay. It was a pretty interesting stream yesterday, to say the least. I don't think I'm going to be tripping on mushrooms ever again while live streaming. But at the end of the day, it was like going into it for me. I was like, look, this is gonna be a fucking experience to say the least. And it was. But yeah, I think the only substance that I'm gonna be sticking to from now on when it comes to live streaming, it's gonna be alcohol. because look, nothing specifically happened. I was tweaking out earlier in the stream for sure. In hindsight, though, the thing is like, obviously, like, mushrooms, they're not. It doesn't make you like deliriant. It makes you, if anything, like a little too aware. You know what I mean? Like, the notion that I had fucking like 300 people watching me try to commentate a fight while I'm tripping balls. I'm like really in my own head, and I'm like very conscious of like what I'm saying. I kept fucking repeating myself over and over again. But it's all right. I mean, I hope some people enjoyed it. It was an experience, to say the least. But I'm going to be sticking with alcohol from now on when I'm watching the fights. 3 grams wasn't enough. I mean, I could have taken more, but, you know, how much I took about 2.5 grams. Buck versus Craig Jones equals the 170-pound GOAT. I mean, look, yeah, well, there's a lot to look at here. You should take salvia and watch every Yuri fight ever. Yeah, that could be a fun stream. That could be a fun stream for sure, I think. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. But, you know, I'll tell you guys what. While watching the fight, I felt, okay, as you guys know, I'm very hard on myself when it comes to analysis and breakdowns. I'm very hard on myself. And I was very disappointed because, you know, I think nothing specifically I said in our breakdown for this fight was wrong. Like, we were primarily looking at the striking difference between them, and I think that, you know, was shown to be 100% accurate. Usman is not very good in the pocket. Buckley had a massive advantage there, but, you know, to me, and it was something we kind of brushed past too quickly. But in the breakdown, it was like, look, if he gets taken down, just turtle and stand back up. And fucking obviously that didn't happen. But, you know, we're going to look at why it didn't happen. And we're going to look at how Buckley, frankly, kind of shat the bed. Because there are things that we're going to look at that fucking Wonder Boy was doing. There are things we're going to look at that Wonder Boy could do. We're going to look at exactly how Leon Edwards was getting back to his feet against Usman. We have some Leon Edwards examples. And it's just like, man, Buckley, like, I don't know what he was working on for this camp, but it certainly wasn't get-ups from the bottom, to say the least. It was not get-ups from the bottom. I think there are things that Buckley could have done that would have made it that would have just made this fight a fucking sure win for him. But we're gonna look at it. But yeah, I didn't cover the grappling enough, Jim, for sure. I didn't cover the grappling enough. But, you know, in my mind, but the other thing, too, is, right, we haven't really seen Usman try to be super offensive with his wrestling in a long time. The Leon Edwards fight was the last time we saw him try to be super offensive. And, again, essentially, I don't want to spoil it yet, but it's just, there's essentially one thing that Buckley was doing wrong over and over and over again, to me, that just shows that this dude's literally a fucking white belt. He's literally a white belt. He's a white belt. Like, I have fucking white belts in my goddamn jiu-jitsu class that I teach that are better than Buckley on the ground. But yeah, I'm just gonna give just a few more minutes for people to pile on in here, and then we'll get into it. I'm trying out this new format for breaking shit down. Hopefully it's good. Yeah, Thug Life. We're gonna take a look at that. That was pretty poor. That was pretty poor in round 3. That was pretty poor. I mean, look, Fat Guru, the truth is that some of it isn't even that technique. I mean, there is a lot of technique that Buckley didn't have, but God, some of the things he was doing just shows you that he wasn't spending any time in this position. I mean, like, I remember, to me, I think I guess, like, the main synopsis of my breakdown for this fight initially was, I think Usman has a lot more to worry about than Buckley does, right? Kamaru Usman needs to worry about the fact that Buckley is, frankly, a more technical striker than he is in close. He needs to worry about the kicks from Buckley, which are really good. He needs to worry about the fact that Buckley's going to be quicker and faster than he is. And that's a lot to worry about. The only things Buckley needed to worry about, and I said this, was he needs to worry about the jab and the straight right hand, and he just needs to work on turtling and standing back up. That's it. Those are the only things he needs to worry about. To say the least, he didn't work on that, I don't think. From what we're going to look at, he didn't work on getting up from turtle because it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And it's crazy because, it wasn't a cardio problem. It wasn't like, Usman was just overwhelming him and he was fatiguing. I mean, look, round 5 was his fucking best round. You know what I mean? It wasn't a cardio problem. It was just the fact that he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready, and he doesn't have an excuse. 100% Goofy Goober. Well, again, and we kind of knew it going into the fight that, based on all the examples we looked at, Usman's not a great boxer in close. He's not. When you got Colby Covington just biting down on his mouthpiece, getting on the inside and swinging with you in the pocket, Buckley is better than Colby Covington in that area. Buckley's better than Gilbert Burns was in that area. But, again, we're going to get into it right now. So, Devin, he did try to turtle a couple. There was 2 specific times he tried to turtle, and we're going to look at it. And we're going to compare him turtling to get back up, and we're going to compare Leon Edwards turtling to get back up to figure out exactly what he did wrong. Usman is ducking Bilal. I mean, look, I don't blame him, but I think he could probably get a title. I mean, it's tough, though, because I don't know. I would like to see him versus Bilal, but I think Usman can make an argument for a title shot. I think he could. But, does he really skip over Shavkat? That's the question. But yeah, I think that Islam is a very winnable fight for Usman. But I think JDM fucks Usman up bad. I mean, the thing about JDM is his grappling is very, very good. His scrambling ability from the bottom is very, very good. I don't think Ian Gary is anywhere near a title fight. I got to be honest with you. He's not anywhere close to a title fight. He needs one more legit win. I mean, the truth is, dude, Ian Gary versus Shavkat was a close fight, but that ended up being a 49-46. You know what I mean? Ian Gary won the last round, but he didn't win any other round of that fight. I agree with you, Minecraft Enchantment Table, on Islam being technically better than Usman almost everywhere, but I think that, at the end of the day, I think we need to see how he performs physically at the weight class before we can speak definitively. But I just think that, again, we've never seen him fight at 170, so, nobody knows exactly how he's going to look physically, but JDM, we do know how he'll look physically, and he will fuck Usman up. But it's going to give it just another 2 minutes. We'll start at the 15-minute mark. We'll get into the breakdown. Just another 2 minutes. Oh, Dominic DeCacco, thank you for the $2, dude. I appreciate it. Usman glaze today is insane. JDM folds him in 3. Yeah, I think that there were a lot of things Usman did well, but I think for the most part, what we're going to be looking at today is how Buckley is a white belt. Is what we're going to be looking at today. Is pretty much what I can tell you this breakdown's going to be. He did look good, though, and again, dude, his fucking power double legs, holy shit, I didn't think Usman was capable of that. Where's the video about how trash Buckley is? Right here, dude, we're doing it right here. I thought about making a video, but frankly, Dap Big Panda, I woke up this morning, still a little frazzled from the mushroom trip, a little bit. I was like, man, I don't really want to make a video. You know what I mean? I would rather. This is more fun for me, to be honest with you. I will frankly say I enjoy live streaming more than I enjoy making videos these days. Not that I will never stop making videos, but I was like, I don't know, man. Oh, Fight Milk, thank you for the £2. I appreciate it. Thank you. Low-key, Usman beats Brady, Gary, and maybe Bilal. Well, you know, we'll get into it, but I think that Ian Gary, I think, is the toughest fight out of all the names you just listed. I think that, again, Usman is not a strong boxer in close at all. And I think that if Brady or Bilal can close the distance with him and get in really tight, I think Usman's at a big disadvantage. But Usman has a very strong jab. I think he controls range well. I think he controlled range well in this fight. And I think it's the takedown defense. I think Usman's takedown defense is obviously one of the best aspects of his game. Now, when he's fighting a fucking middleweight Hamza, that kind of flies out the window because he just wasn't strong enough. But I think that as long as he can defend the takedowns from Bilal and Brady, which I think he can, I think he can overall keep them at range with the jab or the straight rights. But I think Ian Gary's movement and footwork and range would be a problem. Because the thing is, right, when you look at when Usman fought Leon Edwards, the reason he struggled in that fight overall was because he really couldn't overwhelm Leon. Again, Leon also kind of sucks boxing in close. And Brady and Bilal were both just closing the distance with Leon, and they were overwhelming him with boxing combinations in close. And Leon is covering up, and they're beating him to the hips. But Usman, not being a very good boxer in close, he couldn't overwhelm Leon the same way. So he had a much harder time getting deep on shots. And I think that same problem will be there against Ian Gary. I don't think Usman is going to be able to actually pressure Gary the same way. But anyway, all right, let's get into it. So, all right, guys. The fight opens up, right? And the first thing that Buckley does is he enters range with a flurry, and Usman does the thing that we were saying was going to be the big problem for him here. Again, he's not very good in close. Kamaru Usman, when you close the distance with him, he kind of tucks his head and closes his eyes, and he puts his head down. And this is why Colby was landing on him a shit ton. This is why Gilbert Burns was landing on him a shit ton. And theoretically, right, because Usman has this tendency, the uppercut would have been the thing that Buckley should have been going for a lot. And he did go for it a lot, but I think in terms of on the feet in this fight, I think the story of it was Buckley missing the uppercuts really badly. Just whiffing on these fucking uppercuts really, really badly. And again, the big problem with Buckley is he has a lot of power. He's very, very fast, but he's not precise in the slightest. And, you know, this is what I was saying a lot yesterday while we were watching the fight was when you look at Ilia Topuria, he certainly has his moments of swinging for the bleachers and missing, but for the most part, when you're watching him throw strikes, Ilia, the first 3 punches are just probing to find that last shot right around the guard. You know, he'll step in, body shot, hook upstairs, and he's just trying to sneak that final shot in. That is not what Buckley does. Buckley just fucking swings like a fucking madman and hopes that one of his punches will eventually randomly land. And it's a problem. You need to be more precise if you really want to sting your opponent. And that just wasn't there. But anyway, right, a lot of people were saying, because in the 5th round, Buckley's takedown defense looked phenomenal in the 5th round. It looked absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of people were saying, well, where was that earlier in the fight? I mean, look, dude, this is the very first takedown right here. There was no stopping this shot. The timing on this double was so clean. Buckley is running into this shot. He's fully committing to this left hand, right hand, whatever, and he fucking runs into this shot. Completely runs into the double. His hips are not back in the slightest. He just didn't get his hips back. There was no defending this shot right here. There was no defending it. Usman has his hands locked, and immediately, right, Buckley does a somewhat good job. He builds the base right here. He's not accepting the position. Right? He's trying to tripod up with this hand. He's trying to push away on the head. Now, here's what Usman does. He pulls the legs away, right? He pulls the legs away to get him away from the fence. And here is the number one problem that we're going to look at over and over and over again throughout this entire stream. Buckley, as soon as Usman pulls him away, he accepts this completely pinned position. He is flat on his back. Usman has the crossface, and now it's just game over. He could not accept this. Eventually, he does kind of try to build his base again in turtle, but he needs this whizzer right here like his fucking life depends on it. He needs this whizzer. If he used this hand to grab the whizzer, he would have been defending the back. He could have got to his knees, and he could have defended. But Usman just pulls the legs away again, and look at what Buckley does. He accepts bottom position and grabs closed guard. If you're grabbing closed guard, you're just accepting the fact that you lost the round. You're accepting the fact that I'm done and I lost the round. Now, I am frankly shocked to be saying this, but let's watch somebody better than Buckley in the grappling. Fucking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Stephen Wonderboy Thompson somehow is leagues ahead of Buckley when it comes to grappling defense. So, they're in a very, very similar position right here. Very similar position. He has the legs lifted. Wonderboy is tripoding here with this arm to not try to accept the position. And this is what he does that's so smart right here. Is that right? He had the whizzer initially, right? He has the whizzer. He lets go of the whizzer because he's obviously afraid of getting taken down. And he knows he needs to land in the turtle position. He wants to land in the turtle position. You do not want to land flat on your back, right? So he lets go of the whizzer, right? And again, fucking Hendricks gets in on this takedown, and look at where Wonderboy is landing. He's landing in the turtle. He's never getting straight flat on his back. So because he lands in the turtle, he's able to grab the whizzer and get right back up. That, and this is actually something that MMA Guru was saying when he did the podcast with Mighty Mouse that I actually did really like and agree with. He says, if you know you're getting taken down, you have to control where you're landing. That is the most important thing. And that is what Wonderboy did right here. He knew he was getting taken down, so he controlled where he was landing, and he landed in the turtle position. Buckley was landing completely flat on his back every single time. He was landing completely flat on his back. Now, of course, this right here was where I was fucking shocked. Because when you go back to pretty much, I remember a big thing about my analysis between Leon Edwards versus Usman and Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad was Usman can't shoot traditional double legs because his knees are so fucked. And because his knees are so fucked, he can't shoot under and actually get his hands locked on double legs. And that was a big reason why he couldn't beat Leon Edwards. And it's a big reason why Belal Muhammad was able to beat Leon. Somehow his knees are fixed or something. I don't know what. But somehow Usman shot a legitimate fucking power double leg. And I have not seen him do this in years. I don't think I've ever seen Usman shoot a double leg like this. Ever. And it's crazy that he's developed this at the age of 38 years old, right? But again, going back to that Wonderboy example, right here, Buckley needs to realize I am getting taken down and I need to choose where I'm landing. I need to land on my terms. Right here, right, for how explosive Buckley is, for how strong he is, for how good of an athlete he is. Right here, he needs to go, I'm getting taken down, I'm exploding to turtle. I am getting flat on my knees and I'm exploding to turtle, just like Wonderboy did right here. But what does Buckley do? He lands completely flat on his back. He lands completely flat on his back. And he's doing a decent job pushing the head away, but he needs to shrimp hard and explode to turtle. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He accepts the fact that he's on his back right here. He just accepts the fact that he's on his back. Again, he's just choosing to go to his back right here. And at this point, it's too late. At that point, it's too late, dude. If you are letting yourself get completely pinned right here, like this is a completely pinning position, and he grabs closed guard, and again, Buckley is just accepting the fact that this round is already over. He's just accepting the fact that I'm done, I'm not getting back up. He didn't even try. He didn't try. He has yet to turtle in this fight yet. He has yet to turtle. But again, right, this right here is where we were really worried for Kamaru Usman. So again, he rides out rounds 1 and 2, and he's just done. But, you know, in the pocket, Kamaru Usman is not a good striker, man. He's not. He's really poor. And this is where this was a problem. He gets rocked really bad here. Buckley fucking cleans him with this uppercut, and then boom! Giant fucking right hand. And I know immediately after the fight, people were like, what fucking judge gave Buckley 2 rounds? Well, theoretically, this is where you would have given Buckley round 3. Theoretically. You know, he fucking cleaned Usman right here. Obviously, you can't really tell because it's a screenshot, but his legs buckled. He got fucking cleaned with this right hand. You know, I guess a judge might have given it to him here. Maybe. But immediately, right, he gets clipped, and immediately he goes to shoot. Now, this right here is a more traditional Kamaru Usman takedown. Go back and look at essentially all of Usman's past fights. This is the kind of shots that he takes. He's never fucking shot double legs. He would reach for single legs. And theoretically, it's this takedown that is way more manageable. And on paper, I thought that Buckley was going to do a way better job stopping this kind of a shot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect Buckley to have been ready for these fucking power double legs from Usman. That I didn't think he was ever going to have again because of his knees. But just reaching for the single leg like this, which is what he did to Masvidal, it's what he did to Leon, this should have been much more manageable. But he grabs the single leg, right? And right here, Buckley needs to grab a whizzer with this hand. He needs to push Usman's head away and start sprawling, right? Just plain and simple, really easy, solid takedown defense. But what did Buckley decide to do in this moment? Does anybody take a guess? What does Buckley decide to do? Right? He's been getting mauled on the ground. You know, essentially, we've learned that he has no ability to get back to his feet. What does he decide to do? It's at this point life or death whether or not he defends this takedown. He decides to start fucking punching him. Look at this. He literally decides to start, he tries to fucking punch him right here. He tries to fucking punch him. Look at this. His leg is in the air. He's completely off balance, and he starts fucking swinging like a madman. And it's for that reason that he's not defending. He didn't get his hips back. He didn't grab a whizzer. He didn't get an underhook. That Usman switches to a double leg. He just switches to the double and runs Buckley all the way back. And again, right? Again, fucking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was doing it correctly. He was choosing to land in the turtle position. Where does Buckley choose to land as he's getting taken down? This position right here. It's fucking poor. Again, what was he working on in camp this whole time? Like, if I was coaching Buckley, it's so simple. We got to watch out for the jab on the straight right, and we need to just get good at turtling from the bottom. Usman can't take your back. He's not going to submit you. You know, you just turtle. But he chose to land in this position. And choosing to land in this position, it's going to be so much harder to get back to your feet. You know what I mean? So much harder. Oh my God, fucking Kyle Aldana, thank you for the $5, dude. I really appreciate that. That helps me out a lot, man. Thank you. That's fucking crazy. Evan, thank you for the $5. I love you so much, Evan. I really appreciate it. Shay, I will donate another $5 on the condition that you gamble it on Ilya for TKO at 316. Listen, if I bet on Ilya Topuria to win by TKO, he's going to win by decision or submission, okay? So that's not going to work, Evan. Like, I understand, and I've fully accepted the fact that my bets are cursed. I don't know who cursed me. I have a feeling it was Lucas Tracy. I have a feeling he did some fucking dark magic, and he transferred his curse to me. So every time I bet on somebody, they lose. I've accepted that. But you have to understand, if I bet on Ilya to win by a TKO, he's going to win by decision or submission. So I think we're fucked no matter what. But okay, all right, here we go, right? Here we go. This right here was the first moment in the entire fight. We're round 3. There's a minute left in round 3. This was the first time that Buckley actually turtled this entire fight. This was the first time that he turtled. And it's like, oh my God, this is what we were waiting for the whole time. You should have been landing in this position off the takedowns, but whatever. All right, whatever. You finally got to the turtle. Here we go. Here we go. This is where you get back up. He's completely turtled. Usman has no back take ability. He has no submission ability. This is your moment. You're jacked. You're strong. You're explosive. It's time to stand back up. What does he do here? He sat back down. I swear to God, hand over my heart. He chooses to sit back down. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. I mean, just look at the timestamp. 43 seconds. Usman doesn't make an adjustment. Buckley sat right back down. He sat back down. I swear to God, he sat back down. And in rewatching it, I was like, Buckley, dude, what? Who did you think you were fighting? Who did you think you were fighting against? What? Are you telling me you did? Oh, man. And then he's sitting back down, and it's poor. It's poor. Now let's go back to Leon Edwards. Because, again, my very first thought after watching the fight was, okay, what did Leon do? I was like, because Leon did not have a problem turtling and getting back up. So I was like, what did he do? There must have been something that I missed here. There must have been something that I missed. What special secret did Leon Edwards have to get back to his feet? Well, let's take a look. So this is one of the few times Usman beats him to the hips, gets in on the takedown, and what does Leon do, everybody? Right here, right? Leon gets completely beat on the hips here. Usman has his hands locked, and what does Leon Edwards do? He chooses where he lands. As he's getting taken down, as his legs are in the air, he goes, boom, and turtles. In the air, he turtles, right? That's it. He chose where he was landing. And he lands in the turtle position. If Leon Edwards chose to land completely flat on his back, it would have been brutally hard for him to get back up. I'm sure he could have done it eventually, but he chose to land in the turtle position. But right now, he's in the same position that Buckley was in right here. As you see, they're in the same position. Let's see what Leon Edwards does. Usman has one hook in, and look, Usman has wrist control, guys. Look, this is Usman's arm right here with the blue tape. He is grabbing Leon Edwards' wrist. Good wrist control. He has his head higher than Leon's. He's doing everything he needs to hold Leon down. And Leon, he stands back up. He stood back up. He just stood back up. Again, right, when Leon fought Bilal Muhammad, he tried to do the exact same thing. And right here, when Leon got to this position against Bilal Muhammad, Bilal would get this hook in, he would grab the body lock, and then he would try to sneak the other hook back around, then he would fully take the back. But again, Usman doesn't have this ability. So Leon had the luxury of even giving up wrist control right here. He would turtle, and he would stand back up. And again, right, Usman is still a fucking monster. He lands like 6 hard right hands, but Leon grabs the underhook, gets back up to his feet. Again, let's look at what Joaquin Buckley, who's way more jacked, way more explosive than Leon, what did he choose to do in this position? He turtles. He's in that perfect turtle position. Leon, the exact same position Leon was in. The exact same position Leon was in. His head is higher. I mean, I think that Usman's weight is overall a little bit more forward. But, you know, again, right, you're never going to find a complete one-to-one example. But they're in pretty much the exact same position. And Buckley fucking sat back down. He fucking sat back down. I don't know who he thought he was fighting. I don't know who he thought he was fighting. But, yeah, it's pretty poor. It's pretty poor. It's pretty fucking poor, to say the fucking least. It's pretty fucking poor. Again, you know, boom, gets his head higher. He just stood back up from the turtle. He stood back up. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow. It's poor. It's pretty fucking poor. Now here's another great example of Buckley just shitting the bed here, right? And this is actually an example of Buckley. Again, it's crazy because, like, it would be one thing, right? Like I said earlier, to look at this example right here of Buckley just, like, turtling and then sitting back down. It would be one thing to look at this and say, well, he was getting overwhelmed, he was fatigued, he was gassed, you know, whatever. But he wasn't gassed, because look at this. Round 4, Usman gets deep on this fucking double leg. And again, it's just like, I'm not used to seeing Usman shoot double legs, but he gets deep on this shot. Really, really deep. Buckley does not have his hips back. Usman has his hands locked. And right here, like Buckley's trying to get the underhook, but right now Usman has his hands locked behind the hips. He should complete this takedown. He should. But Buckley, just being really strong and really explosive, actually defends the shot very well. Has the whizzer, has the underhook. This is really good defense. And right here, Buckley starts emoting. He's like, not this time. I got you this time. But Buckley, if the person's hands are locked, you have to get his lock over your hips. I ended up not. I meant to grab an example of this, but I forgot. But John Jones, Dominic Reyes. John Jones kept getting to this position against Reyes, and Reyes was able to stop it because he was picking John's lock over the hips. As long as you get the lock over the hips, you're fine. Buckley, again, just not understanding the mechanics of takedown defense, is thinking right now that he defended this shot. But Usman still has the hands locked behind the hips and just picks him up. And again, where does he choose to land? He chooses to land on his back. He chooses to land on his back. What did Leon Edwards do in this exact same position? Legs in the air. He chose to land in turtle. He chose to land in a more dominant position where he knew he was safe. Again, right, look, there's a real back take threat here, but Usman doesn't have that in his skill set. So Leon had the luxury of giving this up. But Buckley, on the other hand, you know, is choosing to land. He's choosing to land flat on his back and getting pinned. And again, here you're pinned. You're completely pinned to the bottom. You're pinned. You're completely pinned. And right here, oh my God, right here. When we were watching this live, again, I'm fucking tripping balls. I'm seeing my fucking, my hand is like expanding and growing. Like I'm fucking having visions from God. And I'm looking at this position. I go, Buckley, you're in half guard right now. Here's what you need to do. Shoot the underhook, which he didn't do the entire fight. But finally, he shoots the underhook. All he needs to do is use this leg right here to hook Usman's leg. Use that hook to get this free leg out, and he would have ended up in a perfect dogfight position. He would have ended up in a perfect dogfight position, which I have an example of that we'll see right now, right? But Buckley decides it actually would be better if I gave up that position and grab a butterfly hook instead. He grabs a butterfly hook instead. And there's nothing from the butterfly. There's nothing. He's allowing himself to get pinned again. All right? Now look, this is what I'm talking about right here. He has the underhook. He uses this leg to hook that leg, uses it to get the bottom leg out, get to your knees, and knee tap or whatever, right? This is white belt shit, bro. It's white belt shit. It's white belt shit. And he just didn't have it. He didn't know. He didn't go for it. He didn't go for it. Again, right? Buckley tries the turtle right here again, finally, but he doesn't have a full turtle position. And Usman's doing a good job leg riding here. He's doing a good job leg riding. What the fuck? We back? Okay, we're back. That scared me. I thought the UFC just fucking took down the stream. I was like, dude, it's literally screenshots, the UFC. It's fucking screenshots. Oh, Tuxedo Mask, thank you for the $2. Buck broken? Yeah, to say the least. Buckley's broken, huh? I fucking guess so. I mean, not really. He didn't break. You know what I mean? The 5th round was his best round, and he was fucking full of energy. He was hurting Usman on the feet. It wasn't like it's a cardio problem, right? It wasn't a fucking cardio problem from Buckley at all. You know what I mean? But anyway, regardless. So he's trying to turtle again, not in a great position. Now, Usman has really good wrist control right here. And maybe you can say, oh, it was the wrist control was the problem. Buckley didn't have the wrist control was the real reason he couldn't stand back up. But again, he also had the wrist control against Leon. You'll see it right here. He has the wrist control against Leon the same way. He has it the exact same way. Right now, this is Usman's hand right now controlling the wrist. And Leon was just able to use turtle to stand back up. Now again, obviously the 5th round is where we saw Buckley finally have some really good takedown defense. And again, right, one may look at this and say oh my God, look, Buckley actually does have some takedown defense. To me, this just makes this whole fight even more embarrassing. Because again, right, if Buckley was gassed and he was getting broken and he was tired and he couldn't handle the pressure, you'd say, okay, well, there you go. But he wasn't tired. He wasn't gassed. This takedown defense was really good. Again, Usman gets in on the single leg just like he did in the 3rd round. But this time, Buckley doesn't start punching. He grabs a whizzer, and he gets an underhook. Whizzer, underhook, and he gets his hips back. And he just actually defends the takedown like how you're supposed to defend takedowns. Again, another one. Usman gets in on the shot. Buckley grabs the underhook. Really good underhook. Gets his hips back. It's oh, okay, so you actually did know how to defend takedowns. You just fucking didn't try earlier in the fight. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. But again, Usman gets really deep on this shot, and right here he grabs the underhook, gets a gable grip, and hikes the underhook up. He was doing this against Colby, and this actually gave me some hope that he could defend the takedowns from Usman. You know what I mean? Was the fact that he was using this against Colby, and it was a good way to defend the takedown. And he does defend the takedown right here. He does. He defends it, right? And Usman is deep on this shot, man. Usman is deep on this shot, but Buckley sprawls hard, gets his hips back, and it's boom, there you go. Right, there you go. And then obviously, Buckley, with the advantage that we knew he was going to have in the 5th round, ends up cracking Usman a good couple of times. Usman gets wobbled, and I didn't show any examples of that. We know what happened. But, I mean, just another example from the Leon fight. Again, Leon's bottom turtle. But, again, Leon chose to be in this bottom turtle position. He never accepted going onto his back. He turtles, and he stands back up. Now, I will say, though, when you look at this sequence, Usman just wasn't doing as good of a job here at pinning. You know what I mean? He just wasn't. Right here, Leon's doing a good job fighting the hand. Usman kind of elects to frame on Leon's head, and it's that's not going to stop Leon from standing back up. So I do think, for the most part, I think that Usman did overall show better pinning ability than we saw in the Leon Edwards fight. But still, this initial example that we showed of Leon Edwards, which one? This one right here. This initial example, this is exactly what Buckley was dealing with the whole time, but Leon Edwards just, again, chose to land in turtle, despite the wrist control, was just able to use the position to stand back up. And, Buckley couldn't do that. And obviously, right, Leon Edwards is a good grappler. Leon Edwards is a very good grappler. But again, with how amazing of an athlete that Buckley is, with how explosive he is, how strong he is, he shouldn't have an excuse here. He shouldn't have had an excuse. He should have been a lot more prepared for this fight than he was. He should have been a lot more prepared for this fight than he was. But I do think, man, with all of this being said, yeah, I think that, like, JDM is a brutally hard fight for Usman. That's a brutally hard fight for Usman. Because Usman is not good in the pocket, man. He's not. He just isn't. Where's that example of him getting fucking cracked again, man? Again, he's just not. When you really close the distance with him, again, Buckley just ducks right underneath that big, shitty winging hook from Usman. Usman kind of ducks his head. He's just not strong in the pocket. He gets fucking cleaned here. And JDM is just so much more technical and so much more accurate than Buckley. Like, obviously, Buckley overall has more horsepower for sure. But JDM is going to be so much better at being accurate, finding that shot, sneaking around the guard. And I think that if Usman does take him down, JDM has the luxury that he knows he's not going to take his back. He has elite scramble ability. That's a really hard fight for Usman. JDM is a really hard fight for Usman. I think that, Usman's chin, though, is amazing. The fact that he ate some of these shots, the fact that he ate those shots in the 5th round, it was very impressive. It was very, very impressive. So what do you think of Bilal saying he didn't try to wrestle against JDM? Well, he did, though, didn't he? Like, he did. Like, he took 11 shots. Like, he had 11 takedown attempts. So, like, what do you mean? Like, what does he mean by that? I didn't try. It's like, no, you did. You took 11 shots. You hit, like, one of them. You hit, like, I think one good takedown. JDM was able to scramble back up to his feet. The rest, he defended all your shots. You know what I mean? It's like you did. You did. Like, it's just like, well, I don't know what you're talking about at that point. Usman should retire. This was a good last fight. I mean, dude, maybe, yeah. Look, here's what I'll say. Usman's plan of fucking fighting the winner of JDM Islam, I don't mind that. Like, I actually think he could beat Islam. Again, we really just need to see how Islam is at 170 physically. But, Islam is not the most powerful. He's not the strongest or the fastest. He's just super technical. That is what makes Islam good. He's just insanely technical, and he's insanely disciplined. He's not a bad athlete, but he's just, like, he's not overly physically imposing for 155. He's now moving up 15 pounds. I don't know. I really don't know how he's going to physically look. And that's going to be a big question mark. But I think on paper, Islam is a very winnable fight for Usman technically. So I think that if Islam wins, it's like, boom, there you go. Fight Islam for the belt. But to move up and want to fight DDP, it's like, dude, do not do that. DDP is essentially a bigger, stronger, way more technical version of Buckley. Like DDP has really good get-ups from the bottom. DDP has really good get-ups. The way he hikes the underhook. Like DDP does this. Where's this example? Like, I talked about it in depth in my DDP Hamzat breakdown that I did. This underhook game off the bottom. As long as you have the underhook, you are safe turtling. You cannot give up your back with an underhook. You can't do it. DDP plays this game right here very technically. He's honestly a very good grappler. He's essentially Buckley, but better everywhere and bigger and stronger and faster. Usman should not try to fight a DDP. That would be horrendous. That would be a fucking slaughter. That would be so bad. Yeah, I mean, no. I would never say that Islam is weak. Never. That I would never say. Wouldn't say he's weak, for sure. I just don't think that he is super physically imposing. At least he can try. Yeah. at least he can try. How much money did you lose? I lost everything. I lost everything I have. It's all gone. It's all gone. But again, right? I'm still winning in life. You know what I mean? I'm still winning in life, technically. You know? You know. So you think that stand-up could give DDP some problems considering how good Khamzat's Darce choke is? Yeah, so like theoretically, yes, but here's the thing, right? And I say this every single time we talk about Darces, is that, let's see, where's the example? Yeah, right here. So, what makes a Darce choke work is the fact that obviously, right, you have this lock right here, because obviously this is the lock, right? It's this side of your wrist is condensing the carotid right here, right? That's what's choking this side of your throat. The other side of your throat is your own arm getting pushed across like this. Like your own shoulder is choking you in a Darce choke. But if you have the underhook strong, it buys you the space right here. So even if they lock the Darce up, they're not choking this side of your throat. Now, if Khamzat were to have a massive strength advantage, like he did against Kevin Holland, for example, Kevin Holland had the underhook against Khamzat when Khamzat was going for the Darce. And it was because of this underhook that there were moments where Kevin Holland was kind of chilling in that position. But eventually, Khamzat was able to adjust, and he was able to get this position against Holland. But DDP theoretically is going to keep this underhook strong, get to his back like this, get to his knees, and that's going to be really hard to condense that position, theoretically. Though, of course, it is something that he would need to worry about, right? Well, I think Farhan Ryan, I think the problem is the fact that Islam needs to close the distance. That's the problem. We have seen in the past how elite Islam is on the back foot, but when it comes to Islam actually needing to close the distance against taller, longer opponents, that isn't something we've ever really needed to see him do before. Again, like nothing really happened against Renato Moicano, but Renato was taller and longer than Islam. And, you know, Islam didn't really do anything on the feet. I mean, again, we didn't see much. But I think that is kind of where the question mark comes in, is the fact that Islam is going to be about 2 inches shorter than Kamaru Usman. He's at a 6-inch reach disadvantage. Usman's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage on him. You know, it's the fact that Islam now needs to close the distance to actually land on Usman is kind of the hard part, you know? Yeah, I mean, theoretically, Minecraft Enchantment Table, that is kind of where I would be leaning for Islam in that fight. Try to be a bit more kick-heavy, for sure. That's what I would say, which I think is doable for him. But, you know, that, in terms of on the feet, that's one path. He's got one thing he can try to do. You know what I mean? But, I mean, maybe. I think that is probably where I would. I haven't really thought in depth. Because the thing is, right, for the longest time, Usman's kind of been out of discussion. In terms of the top of the welterweight division, right? Like, he hasn't even really been there, you know what I mean? Like, we've had a lot of other names. So I haven't even really put that much thought into an Islam-Usman fight. He did Andy Luna, but Poirier is shorter than Islam. He's 5'9". Usman's 6 foot. I think Sean Brady versus Usman goes. Well, I think that obviously Sean Brady's a monster on the ground. He's big, he's strong, but he's not a bad wrestler by any means, but he's not nearly the wrestler that Bilal Muhammad is. If Brady can close the distance against Usman, he's going to have a massive advantage. But again, it just comes down to Usman's jab and the straight right. The jab and the straight right. If Usman can control distance, keep him at bay with the jab. I think that Brady is going to have a hard time getting in on takedowns. I mean, again, Usman's takedown defense is elite. So as long as he defends the takedown, I think he might have an advantage on the feet, but, I don't know. I mean, Minecraft and Champion Table, I don't think Buckley has horrible boxing fundamentals. I would not use the word horrible. I really wouldn't. I think that's something that we looked at in the initial breakdown. Like, it's not world class by any means. But, like, Buckley was having moments against Colby where, like, Colby's throwing a big hook and Buckley would answer the phone and then look to land with that same shot that he blocked with. You know what I mean? I think for the most part, let's be real. Buckley was way better than Usman in close. Way better. I don't think he has horrible boxing fundamentals. Again, I think that if he was just a little bit more precise and if he was looking to, like, set up kill shots better, I think is what that's what Buckley needs. He needs to try to set up kill shots instead of just fucking winging for the fences with every single punch. But, yeah, I mean, that's why Buckley lost to Kevin Holland so bad. You know what I mean? Kevin Holland was just a more technical sniper than Buckley was. And actually, I do think Buckley-Holland, too, is an interesting fight. I think that's a very interesting fight. I mean, I think it more so, again, it kind of comes down to the fact that because Buckley is so explosive and so fast, he finds success without needing to be super precise and without needing to really set up his punches well. That's kind of a problem. I think like when you look at somebody who's as technical as JDM is, it's because of the fact that JDM isn't naturally superly explosive. So it's for that reason that JDM, in order to have success, has needed to develop really long boxing combinations, has needed to develop like really high-level technical ability to slip, sneak shots in, find counters. But again, because Buckley is so explosive, like when Buckley is sparring, again, right, that is what's going to lead you to need to develop brand new skills. Is while you're sparring and while you're training, like, man, I can't find success, like, this shit's not working. I need to develop certain ways to sneak shots, and I need to become technical. Whereas Buckley, I don't think he has that problem. With the people that Buckley spars against, he finds success just being explosive and fast. And I do think he has worked on some technical aspects of boxing, obviously, as we looked at in the breakdown. But for the most part, he's never needed to develop that like JDM style long boxing combinations. I think that's what makes Ilia Topuria so good, is that he is that powerful, he is that accurate, but he still has developed like really solid fundamentals. I agree, Darts. I think Buckley-Holland 2 is where. I think Buckley-Holland 2 that's what we need. That is the only fight that is interesting right now, for Buckley at least. That's the fucking fight. Email Mailson, I'm a little, you have like a very strikingly similar profile picture to a certain Steve Spiros. And I wonder if you guys are in cahoots somehow. Oh, the Walk, thank you for the $2, Walk. I appreciate it, buddy, thank you. If Gilbert is landing hard on Usman, Buck could. I mean, not only Buck could, Buck did. In the 5th round, he had Usman pretty freaking hurt. Let's see. He obviously had him really hurt about right here. Right here, he fucking cleaned Usman. Hard right hand, fucking boom, giant uppercut. And this was the big one. This hook right here was devastating. Like, Usman literally was standing straight, gets hit with this shot, and fucking boom. You know what I mean? Like, he cracked Usman. He fucking cracked him. You see it in this moment. Usman's legs buckled real briefly. But Usman's chin, he has a hell of a chin. He's very durable. Very, very durable. And, you know, he was able to survive, immediately shoots on Buckley. And Buckley, instead of defending the takedown, starts swinging with punches. Like, dude, look at this shit. This is so poor. Like, your leg is in the air. You gotta get this leg back. You gotta get this leg back. You gotta grab, just push the head away at the very minimum. Instead of punching, use this hand to shove his head this down towards this way. You know what I mean? And, yeah, you know. And boom, transitions to the double leg, and then that's all she wrote. So, you know, he did. He certainly did land on Usman. Yeah, I would agree with that walk. Buckley is a lot more technical than Gilbert Burns. But again, you know, the difference there was that Usman did not want to take Gilbert down, so they were forced to strike on the feet. You know, and again, Buckley should have been so much more prepared than he was, and he just sucks. He should have been so much more prepared than he was. Buckley versus Prates next. I think that's off the top of my head, I think that's a really difficult fight for Buckley. Because I think that Prates being so tall, so long, I mean, Prates is well, the problem with Prates is if you rush at him with strikes, because of that like old school kind of Muay Thai stance, that real Muay Thai style, he kind of just shells up and backs away and doesn't have any ability to land in between your combinations. Like Prates can crack fucking bad. You know what I mean? Like, he's fucking powerful. And if he just had more of an ability to throw with you in combinations, he could be devastating. But he doesn't. He needs to be on the front foot. And I think that, you know, for the most part, I guess Usman did a good job the first 4 rounds of kind of putting Buckley on the back foot. So if Prates can do the same, I think he just cracks Buckley at some point. Hard straight right hand. I mean, Usman, there were times in this fight where he did land a really hard straight right against Buckley. But, you know, yeah, I think that's a tough fight for Buckley. Yeah, I mean, I hope so, Minecraft Enchantment Table. I mean, you know, the thing is, Prates is a bit older than I would have liked him to be. You know, if he was 27 years old, I would say, damn, the sky's the limit for Prates. But already being 31, you know, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I think it's definitely possible he can add some new elements to his game for sure. Joff Neal versus Buck, though. You know what, dude? I think Joff Neal fucks up Buckley. Well, how old is Joff Neal? How old is Joff Neal? I think I just typed in how. That's the fucking mushroom. That's the mushroom resonance still on me right now. How old is he? How old is this motherfucker? How old is... There we go. Only 34. I think Joff Neal fucks up Buckley. Joff Neal, his takedown defense is fucking phenomenal. His boxing is way higher level than Joff. I think he destroys Joff. And I still think, dude, if they fed Joff, or if they fed, give Bilal Muhammad Joff while Bilal was champion, Joff would have been champ. Stylistically, Joff does so well against like pressure boxers. I mean, I think that JDM beats Joff because I just think overall JDM is a way better striker. I think JDM is a way better striker. Just overall. I mean, I guess the pure boxing is interesting. I would even still give a slight edge to JDM there because he's so much taller and longer. But I even think the kicks of JDM are really good. Like, JDM's boxing's his A game, but he's a very well-rounded striker. I think that Joff is much more of a pure boxer. It is very impressive how Shavkat did against Joff in the boxing, but remember, Shavkat just outboxed Ian Gary for the most part. Through that entire fight, he just outboxed Ian Gary. Was just a step ahead of him in the boxing. So I think Shavkat's a very technical boxer himself. You know? Oh, Matthew Hockling with $2.50. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. How does JDM versus Shavkat or Gary go? Well, I'm very curious to see like the straight up boxing between JDM and Shavkat, because I think Shavkat's very technical there. But I think that overall you're going to give a slight edge to JDM, and I do not think Shavkat's going to be able to take down JDM. I mean, again, we did see Shavkat shoot a real double leg against Gary once. He's going to need a lot more of that. A lot more. Because for the most part, him trying to hunt clinch takedowns, it's never going to work. I'm sorry. JDM is way too good. I think it's a shame because one of the best aspects of Shavkat's game is his top pressure and his submission ability. It's very, very good, but it gets kind of neutered by the fact that he's not a very strong wrestler. Like, all of his takedowns are sambo-based. You know what I mean? It's like all clinch takedowns against the fence. But you lose that gi jacket, and now you're just doing Greco-Roman wrestling. And it's like, you know, if you are a really high-level Greco-Roman wrestler, well, I guess you can hit a fucking, like, insane lateral drop like Ilia Topuria. But Shavkat doesn't really have that in his game. Shavkat just wants to, like, you know, bear hug you, trip, pick you up, you know what I mean? But it's so hard to actually make those work. That's why you could never take Ian Gary down with the clinch takedowns. Though he did shoot that one clean double leg. He's going to need a lot more of that. For the most part, I'm going to give JDM the very slight edge. I'm going to give him the very slight edge overall in that fight. But if Shavkat can really develop some more traditional shots, some better doubles, he does have a fairly good single to cross-face takedown, though Ian Gary took advantage of that and got around that arm in order to take the back. But I would give the slight edge to Shavkat unless he can develop better wrestling. In terms of JDM versus Gary, I still think JDM's more technical everywhere. I think that, I mean, look. I think that Gary has good distance management overall, which is going to be what he needs against JDM. Just try to maintain space. But, I mean, dude, you know, look, people meme on Kevin Holland a lot. But for JDM to go out there and just outbox Kevin Holland skill for skill, giving up 5 inches in height and 8 inches in reach is kind of crazy. Now, I do think that Gary is overall more technical than JDM, or more technical than Holland by a mile. He doesn't have the reach that Holland does, though. Only a 74-inch reach at 6'3" is not a lot, you know. I can definitely see him. Look, if Shavkat's outboxing Gary the way he did, I think JDM can get on the inside. And I think I even think JDM's a better grappler than Ian Gary, though Ian Gary is a very good grappler. I would lean JDM there as well. Fight Milk, thank you for the 2 pounds, Fight Milk. I love you, buddy. That's so nice of you. Prime Connor still technically ahead of these strikers. Yeah, for sure. I'm telling you, dude, Conor McGregor is, I think, the most. I think he's probably, as crazy as this sounds, I really think Conor might be the most underrated fighter ever. Like, people don't take Conor as seriously as they should because they kind of gloss over the fact that his prime was at 145 pounds. At 145 pounds, he was such a motherfucker to such an extent. It's kind of crazy. So much of his career is judged at 155, where he just wasn't properly sized for that weight class. You know what I mean? Again, he moves up from 145 to 155 to fight Khabib, who was cutting pretty much as much weight to get down to 55 as Conor was to get down to 45. You know what I mean? He just wasn't big enough for that weight class. I really don't think so. But at 145, fuck, was he a fucking problem. I mean, the accuracy, the power, the distance management. I mean, to mix his level of boxing with his kicking ability and the power he had at 145, it's a fucking problem. It's a serious problem, but it was never the same at 55. Yeah, Prime Mendez was very underrated too. Oh, Ogre Online, thank you for the $5, Ogre. I really appreciate it. It wouldn't let me type in uppercut last night for Kamaru versus Buckley fight. What do you mean, Ogre? What do you mean it wouldn't let you type in? What does that mean? Can you expand on that, Ogre? The Walk, thank you for another $2. We should do another fun debate stream this week. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, for sure. We can definitely do that. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's been about almost a month since our last debate stream. We'll do that. We'll do that. Probably not tomorrow, but I think I have a good idea for a tier list tomorrow. Which I think will be good. Basically what I want to do is a tier list of potential fights to make based on this fight night right here. You know what I mean? Like, well, you know, we'll expand on that more when we actually go over it. But I'm tinkering with that idea. But I think that would be a good idea. But yeah, we'll do that for sure. Walk. We'll do that for sure. Dude, I don't think Ortega beats Conor McGregor at 145. I don't think so. I do not think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think that obviously Ortega's a motherfucker for sure. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think his wrestling was strong enough. I mean, again, right? Conor McGregor without a torn ACL, like in the Chad Mendes fight against Eddie Alvarez was a good wrestler. You know what I mean? And Conor's takedown defense there was phenomenal just because of how he managed space and distance. You know what I mean? He was seeing all of Eddie Alvarez's shots coming from a fucking mile away. And I think, like, obviously, if Ortega were to take Conor down, obviously the submission threat is huge. But for the most part, like, I don't think Ortega's striking defense was good enough. And I think, like, Conor at his absolute best is going to snipe him. And he's going to put him down. He's going to put him out. You know? I mean, Ortega's tough for sure. But again, it's difficult. Like, when you say Ortega's tough, you're looking at the Max Holloway fight and the Volkanovski fight where Ortega certainly proved that he was tough in those fights. But you got to remember, both Max and Volk are very volume-heavy hitters. They're very volume-heavy. Very volume-heavy. Neither of them are known for one-punch knockout power in the slightest. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, right? Like, who does either of them KO at 45, really? You know? But Conor's a very different story. Conor can't beat a good MMA fighter his own size? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. He has to be undersized for him to beat them? That's just not true. No, it's just not true. Like, what are you talking about? At 45, Dustin Poirier was probably still bigger than Conor was when they fought at 45. Conor's power was just insane at 45. It was insane. Like, he would fucking... Again, and it was never the same at 55, where he was fighting bigger guys. You know what I mean? That gap from 45 to 55 was pretty significant. You know, again, he went from just knocking Dustin Poirier out with a single shot at 45 to needing to rock Eddie Alvarez 5 separate times with shots right on the chin before he actually put him out. The Mendez fight wasn't great. And it's a little unfair, though, because the thing is like, we have, because of the Notorious documentary, we had, like, a real inside look at his training camp for that Mendez fight. And obviously his knee was fucked. And it's unfair because I'm sure a lot of guys have really bad injuries sometimes going into fights, and we just don't even know about it because there was no documentary going through it. But, like, we know, like, you watch the documentary, he was fucked going into that fight. I think Sean versus Ilya would go at 45. Purely on the feet, it's a very interesting fight. If Sean O'Malley and Ilya Topuria had a kickboxing match, it would legitimately be very interesting. Though Ilya Topuria would grapple fuck him however he wanted. However he wanted. Sean is not strong enough at 35. Now, it's a little slightly unfair to say that because Merab is just so strong. He's so fucking strong. Again, bro, you go back to that round 1 of their last fight, Sean versus Merab. It's like, dude, when Merab was going for that double leg up against the fence, I don't know what Sean could have done better there. Sean has his base fully stretched out. He has the whizzer. He has the under. He's doing everything right. And Merab fucking picks his ass up and puts him down. It was like, okay, all right, well, we thought maybe the strength advantage was going to get fixed. It didn't get fixed. It just didn't. But still, going up to 45, Ilya's just going to grapple fucking. Like, dude, Ilya Topuria is shooting double legs on Max Holloway and picking him up and putting him down. What the fuck's he going to do to Sean O'Malley? How would Ankalaev versus Aspinall go? I'm hesitant to say this, obviously. But if Tom Aspinall fought Magomed Ankalaev, I would sell everything I owned, and then I would bet it all on Tom Aspinall, and then ride off into the sunset with my generational wealth. I mean, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, Ankalaev would get destroyed by Tom Aspinall. Ankh versus Tom is 50-50. Really? I mean, look, Ankalaev is very good. But he's not even a big 205er. Like, he's not small, but he's not a big 205er. He's not a big 205er at all. Fighting a real heavyweight. A real heavyweight. A real heavyweight. You know what I mean? Who's faster than him, who's way more dangerous than him. Where is Ankalaev better? Like, Ankalaev couldn't take down Alex Pereira. Now, Alex Pereira has developed good takedown defense. But, like, dude, my last video about Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, and we were looking at some of those small Instagram highlights of Tom Aspinall fucking Granby rolling, Tom Aspinall using a reverse butterfly hook to fucking cause a scramble to get back to the whizzer front headlock position. I'm like, dude, like, Tom Aspinall is really technical and really big, like, way bigger, and I think way more technical everywhere. Oh my god, Dana Black, thank you for the 35 czar. I wonder how much that is. Probably like $5, I think. 35 czar to USD. Oh no, it's $1.95 in African rand. Well, it's South African money. Well, thank you, Dana Black. Bilal had way more success on the feet against JDM. People remember 48-47. Usman has a high chance with the jab and a higher pace. But you have to remember, Dana Black, that legitimately Bilal Muhammad just is legitimately a way more technical boxer and close than Usman is. Look, if you want to become a member and go back and watch my Usman versus Buckley definitive breakdown, we looked very in depth at the striking of Kamaru Usman compared to the striking of Buckley. Usman is not a good boxer in close. Like, that's just a fact. That got proven in this fight. It got proven in every fight in the past. You close the distance with Usman, he's not great. He's got, again, very good jab, very good straight right, but he's not good in close. Like, Bilal is way more technical in close. You know. Yeah, I mean, maybe Ankalaev's a better counterpuncher, maybe, but like he's just not, he just ain't, bro. He just ain't better than Tom. He's just not better than Tom Aspinall, and he's given up so much size. Lucas thinks it's 50-50, and so does Kenneth. Nice. Two of the greatest MMA minds on the platform, right? Two of some of the greatest minds on the platform. If they say so, then fuck, dude. I guess maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. So think about it. Pantoja and Paulo Costa are 50 pounds apart. That's the weight difference between Tom and Ankalaev. I mean, there you go. There you go. I'm not being mean to Lucas. I'm not being mean. I love Lucas. I do. I really love his content. It's really grown on me. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I'm just being honest. My Ilya Charles breakdown, I'd say give me about 5. I'd say give me about 5 days. I think I'm gonna really start. I'm probably gonna start filming maybe this week. Maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna start filming it. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Minecraft Enchantment Table, about Ian's boxing. It's not great. It's not great. Show your Zhang Wei Li impression. Wonky374. You guys know how it is, man. Like the Joker says, if you're good at something, never do it for free. Never do it for free. And look, I have a very good Zhang Wei Li impression. I don't do impressions, but my Zhang Wei Li is fucking A1. And for the right price, I'll do it for you. For the right price, I'll do it. For the right price, I'll do it. Did you get the Real Food Cookbook? I thought about it, but I decided to pirate it instead. Don't tell Lucas. I pirated his cookbook. And I love my seed oils, man. Who wins a debate, DC or Lucas? Oh, I think Lucas would fucking slap Daniel Cormier around, dude. Lucas would destroy Daniel Cormier. I mean, obviously, I think it depends, like, specifically the debate topic, but, like, I think, look, Lucas knows a lot about MMA, man. He knows a lot about MMA. He does. He knows a lot. He doesn't know as much, like, technically, but, like, he knows a lot about, like, individual fighters, and he knows, like he's way more well-endowed when it comes to, like, prelim fighters than Daniel Cormier would ever be. But, like, it just depends. You know what I mean? It depends. Like, if they were to have a discussion about, like, the intricacies of fucking, grappling, maybe that's where Daniel Cormier would do better, but... I'm coming out with a fake food cookbook. It's gonna be called the seed. Something about seed oils, the seed oil masterclass. And I'm gonna be like, I don't care what you're making, but drench it in seed oils. What'd you do with the rest of the mushrooms? It's just sitting in my in my drawer. I'm probably gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again next week. Just give me 7 days. I'm gonna try it again. But this time, enjoy the experience a little bit more rather than be on live stream. Which I know that I didn't enjoy it, but it's definitely a different experience. I'm gonna give myself like 7 days to recover, and then I'm gonna do it again. But this time, like, actually have a trip. You know what I mean? You could balance out seed oil if you take omega-3 supplement. Yeah, but like, I truly think it's more mind over matter. Like, dude, I take a teaspoon shot of seed oil every day, man. And that's what keeps me regular. If you need recovery days from shrooms, you taking them way too aggressively. MMA Jensen, let me educate you on mushrooms. The reason why you need recovery days aren't the right words, but mushrooms are anti-addictive. They're anti-addictive. Right now, right? Like I did mushrooms last night. If I tried to do it again today, it wouldn't work. Your body builds such a tolerance to it, it wouldn't work. It takes 7 whole days for you to return to baseline. If I tried to do it right now, it literally wouldn't work. I wouldn't feel anything. It doesn't work. You can't do it back to back. You cannot do it back to back. Your serotonin levels are your tolerance is so high. So you physically have to take minimum 7 days off for you to even feel the effects again, you know? So that's more so what I meant. Like, I guess recovery wasn't the right word. Shay, what if Usman develops back takes? I mean, dude, look, it'd be a problem, but at this point, at 38 years old, I don't think it's coming. I don't think it's coming, but that would be something. I mean, look, if I did 10 grams, maybe I'd feel it then. But, I ain't doing that, to say the least. I'm not doing that. Won't your ego die if you take too many mushrooms? I've never used them. If you take enough mushrooms, yes, you experience ego death. It's terrifying to say the least because it is literally you experiencing death. Like you die. You don't actually die, but you feel like you're dying. It's very terrifying. Now, if you can relax and accept the ego death, you have a beautiful experience after where people describe becoming one with everything. You know what I mean? But oh man, is it scary. Oh man, is it scary because you feel like you're dying. You're like, "Oh my god, I'm dying right now." And you have to just accept it. If you fight it, it's a really bad experience. But it's so hard to let go. It's so hard. But obviously your ego comes back after, you know what I mean? But yes. That's what Deontay Wilder said from essentially what they call it is you die and then you're reborn is what they say. It's like a rebirth experience. Spinning crotch killing for the $5 dude. I really appreciate it. How was doing the fight reaction on Mushies? I missed it. Done any heroic doses? It was an experience to say the least. I wouldn't do it again. But I wouldn't do it again, to say the least. But it was an experience. It was hard because, like, you're so hyper aware of what's going on. And it's like, I'll tell you what, like, I've been live streaming at this point for over a year. Like, I think I just hit a year of doing live streams. And, like, right now there's 300 people watching me. Right now. 301 people. And... right, like, that's crazy to think about, because, like, imagine right now I was in, like, a fucking gymnasium with 300 people sitting there listening to me talk. But, like, on a live stream, you kind of just mute it. Like, you don't really think about it. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But, like, boom, when you're on mushrooms, I'm sitting there, like, like at a certain point, like I'm watching the fight, I'm trying to commentate the fight, and I'm like, there's 400 people listening to me, like looking for analysis, and it was hard, but it was fun. I had a good experience, but it was hard. I kept fucking repeating myself over and over again. I fucking, it was interesting. I wouldn't do it again, but it was a very fun experience. I have done a heroic dose before. I was 21 years old, and I did 5 grams of albino penis envy mushrooms, which are very, very strong. man, it took me years to recover from. It was very difficult. And I can wholeheartedly say that I am very grateful that I had that experience. And truthfully, I attribute all success I've ever had in life to that experience. But it was terrifying. Like, it was terrifying. It was very, very scary. And it was something to say the least. It was like to have your perception shift that drastically. The scariest thing was, and it's something that I wasn't ready for, but when the ego death started coming on, like, I don't know if anybody in chat, I'm sure some people can relate to this, but I have always had a lot of lucid dreams. I've always had a lot of lucid dreams. Like, I'll be dreaming, and I'll know that I'm dreaming inside of my dream. And, like, because I know that I'm dreaming inside of my dream, I can, like, force myself awake. Like, I can wake up, right? The scariest thing was that when the ego death was happening, it felt like I was waking up from a dream. As I felt like my ego dissolving and like I was experiencing death, the feeling was me waking up from a dream. And I'm sitting there like, how am I waking up from my own fucking life? Like, what? Like, I'm waking up from life? Like, how does that make any sense? And it was terrifying because I didn't know what I was going to wake up to. I had no idea. Right? Like I had no idea what I was going to wake up from. Like, I'm about to wake up from my life to another life. Like, I didn't know what I was going to wake up to, and it was terrifying. But yeah, it was, and I remember, I remember, I don't know what I saw that made me think this. But at a certain point, when it started getting really deep, I just started bawling my eyes out. Like, I was crying. And I was like, oh my God. Like, none of this is real. Like, life isn't real. Like, we're living in the fucking Matrix. And I was crying. I was crying my eyes out. And I don't know what I saw that made me think that. But, boy. Well, it doesn't sound appealing. Well, okay, let me tell you something right now. You do not do a heroic dose of any psychedelics. You do not do a heroic dose because it's appealing. You do a heroic dose because you want to, I guess, peek behind the curtains of whatever's going on in reality. You know what I mean? But, like, that's a heroic dose. Like, the dose that I did last night, like, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to experience that. Like, if you do a small dose of mushrooms, I really feel like it's like therapy. Like, you get really introspective and you start, like, thinking back a lot. And, like, you do a lot of healing off small doses. But that's not the same as doing a heroic dose. I don't recommend anybody do a heroic dose unless you're, you know, I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready. I wasn't ready, to say the least. But, yeah. Second City Saint, thank you for the $5, dude. I really appreciate it. Hey, Shay, do you think Dana slapped his wife this week? I mean, dude, when I think back to that video of him just fucking grizzly clubbing his wife, it was way too natural for him. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't think twice about it. He did not think twice about it. His wife gave him a little slap, and then he fucking grizzly clubbed her. He did a fucking full-blown, like, he, like, did one of those power slap warm-ups, you know what I mean? And boom! You know? So that came a little too naturally. Look, dude, for how much he defends John Jones, who is a literal known charged wife beater, for him to defend John Jones that much, for him to also be on tape smacking his wife in the face, like, let's just call a spade here, gentlemen. He probably beats his wife on the regular. So, yes, Second City Saint, yes. Tuxedo Mask, thank you for the $2. You should try an IV ketamine clinic. It's nuts. I've heard a lot about that. I've heard a lot about that. Yes, ketamine clinics and stuff. You know, I can wholeheartedly tell you that, like, one day in my life I will look to experience the full ego death because I want to see what's up before I die. But not anytime soon, to say the least. When I'm 50 years old, I'll venture back down that pathway, but I ain't doing that anytime soon again. Shay, I'll stick to weed after that speech. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But thank you for the $2, Tuxedo Mask. I love you. I'm fucking terrified of drugs, and this stream is making me even more scared of any drug. I mean, I'm sorry to give you that impression, Meme Big 8. I'm sorry to give you that impression. Wholeheartedly, though, I attribute all success I've ever had in life to having that trip, though. I do. Because the truth is, and even though I can't prove it, like, it made me so much more comfortable in life. Like, I think a problem people have, truthfully, is they take life very seriously. But after I did have that experience, I was like, damn, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not scared. I'm not, like, obviously, no, everybody cares what people think. But it made me not care what people think a lot more. And which is good. I think it helped me put myself out there more, you know? Shay, will we ever find love? I hope so, Walk. I hope so, Walk. I think you will. Oh, Tuxedo Mask, thank you for another $2, dude. Thank you. I entered a void world of infinite viewpoints. Damn, infinite viewpoints. That's a lot of viewpoints. Infinite viewpoints is a lot of viewpoints. That's crazy, Tuxedo Mask. Yeah, I've heard trippy shit from that. Bro, just stop. Don't encourage drugs. All right. I won't. I'm 15 here, making me want to take drugs. Yeah, let's not do that at the age of... Yeah, I do not condone the use of any psychoactive substance to anybody. Let me say that right now. But do you recommend it? Yeah, you know, I don't think recommend is the right word. I mean, the only thing I can do is just discuss my own personal experience. You know what I mean? Tuxedo Mask, thank you for the $2. We are literally made of naturally occurring drugs. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, like, you don't realize, though, is, like, you can achieve, like, when you smoke DMT, you can achieve that exact same experience just meditating. Like, people realize that. You can achieve the exact same experience just doing holotropic breathing. Like, you don't need drugs to achieve these experiences. You can literally have an ego death just meditating. Literally meditating. You can have the same experience as you do on drugs. Like, it's just ignorance is when people, you know. Whoa, oh my god, what the fuck, what happened? Oh my god, spinning crotch kick, 5 gift members? Dude, that's crazy. Thank you so much, dude. That's insane. Dude, spinning crotch kick, I really appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much, dude. Dude, you're a legend. That's so nice of you, dude. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Damn. Paul Polito got it. LEC, Email Mails, and Samuel Trope got it. Dude, that's so cool, dude. Thank you so much, Spinning Crotch Kick. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my god, Kay! Thank you for the $5. I didn't expect Buckley to lose. I get angry when contenders in their prime lose to unks because it's a young man's sport. Thanks to Buckley, I quit betting. LOL. Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough, and it was something that we were discussing yesterday. It's like the one true hurdle when it comes to breaking down fights and fighters is just not knowing what people are working on in camp. You know what I mean? Like, when I was breaking down this fight initially, right? Like, on paper, it makes perfect sense. I'm like, Buckley, Kamaru Usman has a lot of 5-round fight experience, like footage. We know what his skill set is. We know what he's capable of. Though, to be fair, all of a sudden, Usman's shooting power double legs all of a sudden. And now we don't know. You know what I mean? But point is, for the most part, we understand what Usman's capable of, right? You need to watch out for the jab, watch out for the straight right hands, work on getting up from turtle. You're golden, Buckley. Go out there and win. And he just clearly hadn't worked on it, did he? Like, he clearly just didn't work on it. Like, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He had a couple moments of turtling, and then he chose to sit back down. He just wasn't prepared. He wasn't ready. You know what I mean? He wasn't. And it's like, fuck. Like, if you could have been a fly on the wall in that training camp, I bet you would have then seen it, you would have noticed it, and you would have been like, okay, well, fuck. Maybe he doesn't stand the chance. But, you don't know. It's hard. Like, I think, and it's something that I do need to start thinking about more doing breakdowns and stuff, is like, I need to start. But then it's hard. It's hard because it can go back and forth sometimes. You know what I mean? Like when I don't want to overcompensate what I think a fighter should game plan for, because they might not game plan for it. But then, I don't overcompensate, and then I only break down what we've seen in the past. And then that fighter actually does, game plan good and actually does make adjustments. And you don't know when it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just hard, It's kind of just hard. Oh, Ogre Online. Thank you for the $10, Ogre. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. In his interview with Mighty Mouse, Buckley said it's too easy to get into the UFC, and here Buckley is in the UFC with no wrestling. I mean, look, the UFC, it ain't the NBA. It's not the fucking Premier League. You know what I mean? Like, when you're looking at a sport like basketball or soccer, for example, you have probably hundreds of millions of kids. Okay, hundreds of millions is kind of a lot. With soccer, maybe. Basketball, hundreds of millions. Fuck it. You got hundreds of millions of kids who start playing this sport at 5 years old, and it's their entire life. I think eventually it'll be this way for MMA, but no fucking 5-year-old kid is dedicating their life to mixed martial arts. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Maybe a kid will start off with a combat sport and do that for a certain amount of time, and then, develop into MMA later in life. But yeah, the UFC is still so young that you can transition to it way later in life. Like, the level of athlete in the UFC is not the same as most like big sports. So, you got a lot of people like, dude, it's not that hard to like get into the UFC. But the reason why it's not that hard is because you're making $10K and $10K to show up, dude. If there was fucking NFL money in MMA, like, oh boy, holy shit, would that be a different ball game? But I think as the sport grows, I think that eventually we will see people, like, you look at Raul Rosas Jr., as an 8-year-old, he was all in on MMA. As a fucking 8-year-old, he was all in on MMA. We'll get there eventually. You know what I mean? I think that's why, like, Khabib, Islam were so good, is because these guys were, like, doing fucking combat sambo from the age of fucking 3 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like, But yeah, in terms of athlete, the UFC is pretty low to mid-tier. You know what I mean? Like, Buckley is just an athlete who, is getting better, but he doesn't really have the skills to back it up. Tuxedo Mask, thank you for the $2. Took the walk to Poland, but TSA confiscated the stash. Damn. Yeah, I would never take any sort of substance on a fucking airplane. Fuck that. That's terrifying. See, exactly why MMA is so hard to predict. Yeah, I mean, LEC, That is why, and I say this a lot, but that's why to me it's a little bit arbitrary to only care what somebody's picks are. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like again with pretty much every single like full video breakdown I do, for the most part, like you can find some examples here or there, but for the most part, like I pretty much outline everything, right? And even if the guy I might not have been leaning towards one, like I still broke down, I still gave the right game plan for the other guy. I still like the analysis was all solid. But to me, that is what's more important than purely picking a winner. Because for that reason that you don't know what adjustments guys are going to make. You don't know if somebody's going to learn brand new skills they've never seen before. You know what I mean? That's why to me, like only, but it's the thing, that's just the nature of the internet and YouTube, and I don't care about it too much, but like, people will come into the stream and been like, man, Shay, you've been wrong a lot, man. You thought you picked Sean to beat Marab, da-da-da. And I'm like, dude, to take that entire 17-minute video I made about Marab and Sean and to sum it up as you picked Sean, it's a little disingenuous, man. Like, let's just be honest here. It's a little disingenuous. Like, that video was a hell of a lot more than, like, I feel like I'm pretty, you know what I mean? I feel like the breakdown was very solid, and I pretty much called how Marab was going to win based on certain adjustments in here and there. You know what I mean? It's my point. I feel like only looking at who you're picking to win's a little arbitrary is my point, just because of that reason of MMA being not linear at all and also just not knowing adjustments. You know what I mean? You know. Yeah, exactly, Chronosis. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, the NBA is certainly different in that sense. Like, you have 7-game series, you know what I mean, in the playoffs. 7-game series. Like, imagine instead of just, like, one fight happening, like, imagine right now it was, like, 1-0 Usman, and it's the first 1 to 4 wins is the one that actually, like, wins the fight. That would be interesting, you know what I mean? Oh, Ground Line, thank you for the $10. If you go into betting based off pure stats and past performances, you'll do good in betting. But last night with Buck, I went into it with the vibe that Buck was my pick, but it was wrong and I'm pissed about it. Yeah, I mean, you can, again, scientifically, you can beat the house sports betting, but you got to put a lot into it, man. You got to put a lot into it. You have to really take it seriously. You have to be very mindful of betting lines. You have to have a really high understanding of the sport. Not anybody can just do it. You have to be very talented. It's doable, but it's doable for sure. It's doable for sure. But I can, as you guys can tell, I don't take it that seriously at all. At all. I used to. There was a time back when those parlays first started. I took it very seriously, but not anymore. I don't know, Jim Miller. I'd love to see some data on that. I would love to see some data on that. I doubt that. I doubt most people who do MMA betting make money net-wise. I doubt that. Buck's been destroying Unks. He was heavily overrated for a while. I mean, I think with this match in particular, that plays a factor, but I also think that a big factor is just the point that, who knew exactly how Usman was going to look at the age of 38, hadn't fought in, 2 years? A year? 2 years? It's been about a year and a half? I don't know. But, nobody specifically knew how Usman was going to look in the fight. Nobody knew for sure. And I think that round 5 showed that Buckley was definitely more capable of winning. But, you know, he had some serious holes in his game. A year and 8 months. Yeah, there you go. A year and 8 months. Damn. Jim is a sure an encyclopedia about this shit. Why was Buckley not executing his plan of oblique kicks, or was he being nice? Yeah, I mean, he could have. He should have been overall more kicking heavy for sure. He should have been overall more kicking heavy. Wappy _50, thank you for the $2. Bring back parlay streams. Yeah, I mean, I will. I will. We'll probably do a parlay stream for 317. We can do a parlay stream for 317. I didn't do it for 316 just because the card was pretty shit. The card was kind of ass. But I can, yeah, the parlay streams aren't done. We'll bring back the parlay streams for sure. I'll do one for 217, I think. Thank you for the $2, Wappy. Dude, I could not believe my fucking eyeballs that MMA Guru's stream yesterday, right after it was posted, had 160,000 views. What? 160,000 views? That is bonkers. That is bonkers. When I first started making videos, which was just about, I think about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, his pay-per-view live streams were getting like 20,000 views. Like, holy shit. A live stream to get 160,000 views is insane. That is insane. No, yeah. Well, obviously, not all at once. That's not how it works. Not all at once. But that is a very high number. That's a very high number. That is crazy. All right, Walk, if you want me to put my shirt back on, I'm going to need another $2, big guy. I'm getting hot. It's warm. Kay, thank you for the $2, Kay. I love you, buddy. Looking at these unks winning, John might beat Tom. Nah, I don't think so. 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 I mean, look, bro. Fucking Tom Aspinall's hitting fucking reverse butterfly hook sweeps, and he's Granby rolling against real heavyweights. He's also 25 pounds heavier than John Jones, lightning fast. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. His pod with Mouse would get dwarfed by a collab with Lucas. I've been saying, man, I should ask bedtime. We need to fucking outdo MMA. We need to fucking get our own podcast going. We need to get our own podcast going. Wouldn't that be something? I bet he'd be down. I bet he'd be down. A podcast when you in bedtime with few families. Yeah, I just don't know exactly how we would do it, or exactly like how we'd structure it. But yeah, I mean, we could get Kenneth in there too. We can get Kenneth in there too if you want. Me and Kenneth had a great fucking collab last time we did it. Thought you and bedtime had beef? Nah. What do you mean it's awkward to watch? I didn't think Bedtime and Guru have ever spoken together. Like, what's awkward about it? I never thought they ever talked. Not gonna lie, Kenneth would destroy you on Ilya versus Charles, unlike last time. It's funny you say that, LEC, because I haven't even made. You don't even know what on what you're acting like you're acting like you already know my analysis for that fight. Like, obviously, I talked about it loosely in the video I posted on it last, but I haven't even given my final synopsis. You don't even know what my opinion is yet. You know. No, you're good. I mean, it's not just you, but I've seen a few people say that. I don't know. They come and they say something along the lines of just you're gonna be wrong about Ilya Charles or something like that. You're gonna be wrong about Ilya Charles, and I'm like, I haven't really said anything yet. Like, the only thing I really said is that I think that there are certain holes in Ilya's game that can be exploited, that have been exploited in the past, somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I've said. I haven't actually even given any sort of a breakdown yet. I mean, look, LEC, that's why I keep saying, I really think at a certain point, dude, picks are a little arbitrary. They're a little bit arbitrary. You know what I mean? It's a little bit arbitrary. You know what I mean? It's a little bit arbitrary. For that exact reason. You know what I mean? Exactly, Minecraft enchantment table. Exactly. Exactly, Jim Miller was never my friend. Exactly. I mean, it's a little bit arbitrary, man. It's a little bit arbitrary. Like, it's just kind of I mean, for example, I know people are kind of joking about this, but it's well, somebody came into the stream yesterday when Usman beat Buckley, and they were like, Kenneth beat you again in terms of picking somebody. And they were like, well, he did get JDM versus Bilal wrong, though. And I was like, it's not the same. It's not the same. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot compare those two things. You know what I mean? Like, coming out there and saying that Bilal is going to piece up JDM and Bilal is going to get a TKO and Bilal can beat JDM on the feet. And it's like, that's not just being wrong. That's not the same as my breakdown for this fight. Like, that's not the same. You know what I mean? Like I mean, but I they were kind of joking, but that's just kind of my point about picks being a little arbitrary. Like, you can't just, it's not 1-to-1. It's not 1-to-1. You know what I mean? It's just you know what I mean? But that's kind of the thing about you. But I get it though. It's kind of the thing on YouTube is what people care about. You know what I mean? Like, who are you picking? Who do you think is gonna win? And it's to me that's not what's important. Like, that's not the impressive thing about breaking down fights. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know who we picked. I'm just saying somebody said that, and I'm not trying to target him in particular. There's just nobody else to talk about on that front, because that's who people come into my stream and talk to me about is him. So I'm not trying to pick on him in particular. I don't know. I don't fucking. Admittedly, I don't really watch his content. I have no idea. I'm just saying, Do. I always get fights wrong if I don't do film and just listen to Shay. But that's the thing, right? Like, dude, and this happened a couple streams ago, man. Like, let's take an example right here. Hold on. MMA, Shay, Max Holloway versus Ilya. Like, this video right here, right? Like, I think that this video, I really think, it's been a while. I'd have to rewatch it, but, from the most part, I really feel like my analysis was fucking on this one. Like, it was fucking perfect, right? But people just look at the title and thumbnail and they go, oh, Shay's picking Max Holloway, and they just move on. I'm like, it's not as simple as that. You know what I mean? And I feel like when it comes to my breakdowns, that happens a lot. People will look at your title and thumbnail and will just kind of be like, okay, that's who you're picking. And they won't even fucking watch the video 90% of the time. You know what I mean? It's like a little arbitrary. Like I always said, he has to be perfect. Like I think he has the style to win, but he has to be perfect. Again, I thought the analysis was like fucking really good. But like a good portion of people just go, oh, you're picking Max Holloway? All right, and just move on. I'm like, that's not what I did at all. That's not what I did at all, to be fair. But that's the thing about picks. Like picks, who are you picking? I'm like, so much more than that. Tuxedo Mask, thank you for the $2. Do you worry for your ethnic homeland's destruction? No, I'm not. I'm not worried about my ethnic homeland's destruction. I'm an American. You know what I mean? I'm an American. Like, I'm not one with my ancestry much. I'm an American. I don't give a fuck about Israel. You know what I mean? Even though I'm Jewish. Yeah, well, exactly, Fat Guru. I'm baiting people. Well, but again, though, right? Like, I am obviously baiting people. But that's the game of YouTube, obviously. The entire thing about YouTube, the number one thing when you have an audience is title thumbnail. Right? If you don't have an audience, of course the video matters, because if people watch for like 5 seconds and then click off, that's going to really hurt your video. But when you have an audience, title thumbnail is the number one thing. So of course I got to make it, very clickable. But like, it's not like I'm not fucking clickbaiting you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, I don't think it's clickbait. He must be perfect, and that was the analysis. Was like, look, Max Holloway's style is sort of built for what Ilia Topuria does. But if he just makes one mistake and gets cracked clean once, the fight's over. That was essentially my entire point of this video. But again, like you said, people just be like, oh, you're picking Max, moving on. And again, that's my thing about picks. I'm like, it's so much deeper than that, for my channel at least, Do-do-do-do. Oh, Randy Brown enthusiast. Thank you for the $2. I really appreciate it. How do you feel after the trip, and what did you take? I just took 2 grams of mushrooms. That's it. I feel fine. I feel fine. Like it was definitely trippy, and it was weird to be in that state of mind while streaming, but it was good. It was a good experience. And I think people enjoyed it. It was, I think people enjoyed it and people found it funny. I won't do it again, but we'll see. I think people for the most part liked it. Oh my God, Kay, thank you for the $5, Kay. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's because the UFC commentary team sucks. Bias due to relationship with fighters, don't update their shite knowledge, and is stuck in whatever year they retired. 100%. I mean, all of Joe Rogan's takes about MMA are fucking 25 years ago. Daniel Cormier's takes are stuck in the year 2015. I think, again, the only one who's killing it, I think Laura Sanko's a great fucking commentator. Yeah, exactly, LEC. Well, again, yeah, like my whole point of this video was, like, again, you look at the Jose Aldo fight, right? What Max Holloway does is he wants to stand right in front of you, and he wants to pepper you at range. And the second you step in and commit to, like, big shots, he's so good at sliding away, making you miss, and then coming back into range, right? That's just what he does. Like, that style is built for somebody like Ilia, whose entire game is stepping in with big overhands and big hooks. And for the most part, Max did very good. The difference is, though, Ilia Topuria is a knockout artist like we've almost never seen before. And again, he had to be perfect. You know what I mean? He had to be. And that's a really tough ask over 5 rounds. Again, from my recollection, I think I was like 70-30 to Ilia, I think, from my recollection. But I'd have to rewatch it to be certain. Again, 7 months ago. It was a long time ago. But I'm sure in a lot of people's minds, I picked Max Holloway to win that fight, and I swore on my mom's grave he would win. I mean, dude, I remember. I remember. Let me show you guys this one. MMA Shea, Michael Chandler. This video right here. This video right here was the worst. Because, dude, again, I was so sad because I didn't stream this card because, obviously, Armin had a jiu-jitsu tournament and I'm his coach. So I didn't stream this card. But as you guys know, I made this video about how Paddy Pimblett should fucking destroy Michael Chandler. And that Michael Chandler sucks and that Paddy Pimblett's going to destroy him. I remember watching the fight. And, obviously, Paddy Pimblett destroys Chandler, crushes him, and I'm like, it's always a little scary when you put "won't be close" in the title. Like I have some fucking PTSD from Charles versus Beneil Dariush. But the fight happens, I'm so psyched. The second the fight's over, I go to the comments and sort to newest. And the comments just start rushing in like, delete this fucking channel. Ha ha ha, you were wrong. Shea with another horrible pick. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? People were literally just looking at the thumbnail and they just assumed what I was talking about. And I was like, wow. I bet you there's still some people in the world right now that think I was picking Chandler. There has to be. And it's something that I've just accepted. You know what I mean? It's something I've just accepted. But it used to really annoy me, but I've accepted it now. That's just how it is on YouTube, and I'm cool with it now. But man, I was so like, wow, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy. No, you're lying to me, Jim Miller. That didn't happen. Really? Really? Are you being serious? That's crazy. That's crazy. It's like, I don't know. I guess maybe if I replaced this image with a picture of like Paddy fighting, and I just replaced this image with just a still of Michael Chandler, I guess I would have fixed everything. Damn. Yeah, but that's just my point. Yeah, but that's what. Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, dude, that's kind of my point. Cacao. That's kind of my point. You know what I mean? It's kind of my point. It's kind of my point. Well, I need to text my dad, ask him what time we're going. I just got a text message. How much for you to read the Quran on stream? This is definitely from when I leaked my phone number way back when. How much, Shay? $2. $2. $2. $2. $2. $2. Well, I'm glad, me and Big 8, I'm glad this portrayed to you exactly what my pick was. You know what I mean? Yeah, next week's card actually is really good. Next week's card is really good. Oh, Kyle Aldana, thank you for the $2. All right, I guess a deal's a deal. One Quran verse. All right, here we go. I know who to talk to about this. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, with an accent. Poor. That's going to be another $2. That's going to be another $2, Kyle. Sorry. It's ego. That's the answer. People think they know MMA, and that's why they take it so personal if they get it right or wrong. It's so lame. Like, I know this is because my cousin used to get pissed off. I get it. Yeah. I hear you. For sure. For sure. Accent. Okay, you said the $2. Okay. Okay. What kind of what's I don't know what the accent is though. I don't know what kind of accent I need. Like what kind of accent? Fucking Muslim accent? Like an Arabic accent?
Why does the Arabic accent sound the way it does? Why we speak like this? Sure, why?
Why do we speak like this? Like this. Like this. Let me see.
Why does the Arabic accent sound the way it does? Why we speak like this?
Why do we speak like this? With a zzz. Why do we speak like this? Dude, you know what I should do on stream? I should spend time working on my impressions. I should spend time working on impressions. And then that could be my new thing on stream as I do impressions.
Sure, why? Here's a few tips to pick up on the Arabic accent. First of all, one of the most common things you hear in the Arabic accent is the use of the instead of the. S instead of the. Zaman, the girl, I sing, you sing.
Zaman, the girl.
The funny thing is that the letter the and the exist in the Arabic language, okay, in the form of zel and the. But in many regions of the Middle East, they've been dropped and replaced simply by the and se. In the same way, for example, in Latin America, the and the in Spanish were also dropped. So like manzana, for example, or corazon became manzana, corazon. I guess they just don't think that sound. Next, in the Arabic language, there is no letter P. So the P is replaced by B. Give me the baking powder. The police is here.
The police is here. The police is here. The police is here. Am I doing it well? The police are here. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. I've got the Z down. But like I don't know how to do the rest of these words. I'm working on it. Oh, spinning crotch gave me the $2 Australian. Spend time now, Max Holloway impression of the Quran. We have MMA Guru at home. How do you do a Max Holloway impression? Let's see. How to do a Max Holloway impression. I'm sure someone's made a video about this. Okay, here we go. This is good.
Holloway impression. You can go Nick Dewey's. We gonna find out Saturday night, baby. 10th Island. What island is it? I am the heat, brother. I am the heat. Come on, Rush. Hey, we gonna find out Saturday night, baby.
There is something so scary and embarrassing about trying to do an accent for the first time ever live in front of hundreds of people that you've never done before. I'll tell you this right now, I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated by the notion of trying out an accent that I've never tried before.
Holloway impression. Holloway impression. You can go Nick Dewey's.
I don't know what the fuck that was right there. I don't know what the fuck that was. That sounded like fucking Mario. If you're intimidated, just take shrooms. Yeah.
Find out Saturday night, baby.
Listen to Guru doing Volk. How the fuck do you do a Volk impression?
Thank you for the $7 Canadian, though. You missed one, Pigger. Seeing a world where Volk's gonna get hurt and put in a guillotine while we cheer, thinking he pulls an Ortega and he just goes to sleep. All right. Thank you for the $5 Canadian.
All right, let's hear it.
Sad, isn't it? Don't say that, dude. Fucking hell. Thank you for the $5. Imagine like Volk's been here before, dude. He'll get out of this one. Oh, he's limp. He's limp. Ref. Volk's just that'd be horrible.
All right, let's hear it.
Impression of Volk forgetting how to fry eggs after flatline KO. Shut the fuck up, dude. No, dude, that's so sad. All right, guys, welcome back to Cooking with Volk. Today, hang on a minute. How did I get in the kitchen?
All right. Well, you know, I was expecting a little bit better of a Volk impression, but maybe bedtime has a better one, maybe. Alrighty, guys. I unfortunately do have to get the fuck out of here. And it's not because I'm running away from that Max Holloway impression, even though I am, but I'm gonna go see a 2:40 movie with my dad for Father's Day. And it's 2:08 right now. So I actually legitimately have to go. I actually legitimately do have to go. But thank you guys so much for coming. I do actually really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We were seeing the Mission Impossible movie. I'll tell you what, Spinning Crotch, I'll work on that Max Holloway impression for you. I do legitimately have to go. My dad just texted me and I realized what fucking time it is. I got to get the fuck out of here. All right. So I will see you guys. I'm probably going to live stream again tomorrow. I do have an idea for a good tier list for tomorrow. So I'm going to see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.